Hi, I'm Kevin from Stock-Trak and Personal Finance Lab, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between a budget and a spending plan. Before I talk about how they're different, I actually want to take a second to talk about how a budget and a spending plan are the same. What they really have in common is it's a plan on how you're going to use your income, and you're going to do this by starting to look at what you spent in the past. So the idea between both of these is to be able to get your spending under control, A, so that way it'll help you start building savings, B, and finally, and probably the most important, it helps you know where your money is going. Because without using a budget or a spending plan, you're kind of firing in the dark, and it's going to be very hard to start building more savings later if you don't know where your money is going now. Now, the best way to understand how these are different is to think of them in terms of a graph. So with a budget, you're going to take your whole income, and it's going to be like a pie chart. So you'll say, this month I expect to spend 30% of my income on rent. So you'll take a slice of this pie and put rent. I also intend to put another 30% into savings. And then you can say I want to spend the rest of it on other expenses like my going out with friends, and my groceries and utilities. So at the end of the month, once your budget is finished, you're going to have your entire income pretty much divided up between all of these different items. In contrast, with a spending plan, it's going to look a lot more like a line chart, where instead of saying a percentage of my income is going to each one of my major expenses, you're going to say, first thing I want to do this month is I want to spend $2,000 and put it directly into my savings account. Next, I know I have to spend $600 on my rent. Next, I'm planning on spending $200 on just going out and buying things on Amazon and things like that. And finally, you'd say, to finish off the month, I'm still going to need to spend about another couple $100 on my groceries and utilities. So with a spending plan, your only goal is to make it so that at the very end of the month, this point here where you've allocated all of your spending, this is still somewhere below 100% of your total income. That means with a spending plan, you're expecting to have a little bit of gap here, and this extra gap you can put towards extra savings, you can put it towards any other spending you want to do. Whereas by building a budget, you do try to plan out every dollar that you earn. Even if this bucket here, which is going out and spending money, even if you don't define what all these items are, you have a specific dollar amount in mind of what exactly this is going to be. Where here, you're saying, I plan on spending at least this much, and then I might take a little bit out from this last 10% that I haven't allocated anywhere. Generally speaking, most people start out by building a budget. You'll look at what you spent last month, and you'll start building a budget to help you plan what you're going to do for this month going forward. Practically speaking, once you know what your budget looks like and you've been using it for a few months and you haven't really changed your fundamental expenses like your rent and your utility bills are fairly consistent, you're going to be switching to a spending plan. It gives you a little bit more flexibility because you kind of know where your money is going. But if you have trouble with self-control, or if you think that you need a little bit more control to help build your spending up, or if you need a little bit more help on building a real savings plan, you're really going to be using a budget to focus on because there's a little bit more control there. So good luck with your budgeting and spending plans, and good luck with this semester.